1847, my father, John Marshall Clemens, passed away. I was just a shade past 11. The following year, I quit school. I apprenticed for a man named Joseph Hammond. He was a printer in my boyhood days. He was a prominent state legislator at the outset of the Civil War, Speaker pro tem of the Missouri House of Representatives. There was a great deal of confusion in the state of Missouri at the outset of that conflict. As a matter of fact, a convention was called in February of 1861 to establish a policy regarding Missouri's relationship with the federal government. There was all kinds of posturing, pontification. Then, on February the 8th, the Speaker recognized General Riley, who arose and entered the following into the record. Mr. Speaker, everybody's pitching into this matter like toad frogs in a willow swamp on a lovely evening in the balmy month of June, when the mellow light of the full moon fills with delicious flood the thin, ethereal atmospheric air. There seems to be a disposition to fight. I say, if there's any fighting to be done, come on with your corn cobs and lightning bugs. There's been a great deal of bombast here today. The question to refer is large and magnificent, and like an unmeasurable sponge in a small tumbler of water, it sucks up everything. The debate has assumed a latitudinosity. We've had a little blackjack bunkum, two-bit bunkum, bombast bunkum, bunghole bunkum, and the devil and his grandmother knows what other kinds of bunkum. Give them a little southern soap, a little northern water quicker than a hound pup can lick a skillet. They'll make enough bunkum lather to wash the golden flock that roams across the azure meads of heaven. I allude to the starry firmament. Here the Speaker informs him that he's out of order and must confine himself to the question. He replies by saying, refrain your linen, if you please. I'll stick to the text. Closest pitch plaster to a pine plank. I want to say to these carboniferous gentlemen, these detonating demonstrators, these pruriginous volcanoes, come on with your combustibles. If I don't, well, I'll suck the Gulf of Mexico through a goose quill. You may think that I'm diminutive tubers, sparse in the mundane elevation. You may discover, gentlemen, you're laboring under as great a misapprehension as though you had incinerated your inner vestment. Mr. Speaker, you must excuse me for my circumlocutoriousness. My old blunderbuss scatters amazingly. If anybody gets peppered, it ain't my fault if they're in the way. Sir, these quandadical, supervertical, mahogany-faced gentry, what do they know of the blessings of freedom? About as much as a toad frog does of high glory. Do they think they can escape me? I'll follow them through pandemonium and high water. These are the ones that have got our liberty pole off its perpendicularity. 'Tis they who would rend the stars and stripes, that noble flag, the blood of our revolutionary fathers emblemed in its red, the purity of the cause for which they died, denoted by the white, the blue, the freedom that they obtained, like bunkum down our craw? No, sir. You might as well try to stuff butter in a wildcat with a hot awl. The thing can't be did. We have lost our proper position. Our proper position is to the zenith and nadir, heads to one, heels to the other, at right angle to the horizon, spanned by the azure arc of the lustrous firmament, bright with the coruscation of innumerable constellations, and proud as a stud horse on county court day. But how the mighty have fallen, in the language of the poet Silversmith. We have lost our proper position. We've assumed a sloshendicular or a diagonalogical position. And what is the cause? Bunkum, sir. Bunkum. People have been fed on bunkum. while a lot of spavined, ring-boned, hamstrung, wind-galled, swine-eyed, split-hoofed, distempered, pole-cavilled, pot-bellied politicians have had their noses in the public trough until there ain't fodder enough left to make gruel for a sick grasshopper. The high bird of liberty is perched in the topmost branch, but there is secession salt on his tail. I fear he will no more spread his noble pinions to soar beyond the azure regions of the boreal pole, but let no Missourian pull the last feather from his sheltering wing to plume a shaft to pierce his noble breast, or, what is the same, make a pin to sign a secession ordinance. Alas, poor bird, if they drive you from the hemlock of the north and the palmetto of the south, come over to the gum tree of the west. We will protect your noble birdship while water grows and grass runs. Mr. Speaker, I subside for the present.